to the second bonus video in the 20 years of MCF celebration. I'm MCFPapa, and in this video I'll be going through and making a tier list of all the locations that we explore within this series. I'm not making a tier list on the quality of the games themselves, just how much I enjoy exploring these environments within the game. So first up is Huntsville, and I'm definitely putting it in A tier. Like, I just love Huntsville's small town, casual, laid back vibe, even though there's no point and click elements with these early games. Like, Huntsville really works well and gels well as a location, with the buildings all feeling like you're seeing pretty much the entire town landscape. Capital City, though, I'll put slightly above Huntsville because I just love the various locations of the big city you see, like the rooftop or the city park or a movie theater or even the sewers and abandoned hospital, which are more ugly locations. I love exploring them. Ravenhurst in the original game, I'd say, is the first S tier location to explore. Like, I love Ravenhurst in the original game. You know, it's a perfect sort of haunted mansion you're exploring, and you see pretty much all the rooms that you'd expect to find in a haunted mansion, and there's plenty of like creepy moments and aesthetics going on, like the weird doll in the attic and the weird ghost flashing on the surveillance room TV. So they did a great job with the haunted mansion. But with Fate's Carnival, you just know I gotta put it at the top. I just adore Fate's Carnival. All the different carnival rides and locations you see, and even exploring the carnies up close and personal in locations. And what I love about Fate's Carnival's map is that with Huntsville and Prime Suspects, their maps for locations, they often copy and pasted a lot of elements between them. But with Madame Fate's Carnival map, it's pretty much entirely unique assets, which are a lot more detailed and show off each of the little scenes you visit. Now, Filthy Rich's Mansion and Millionaire. It's not a bad location, but I'ma just put it in B tier because while the mansion itself is okay, there's not a sense of cohesiveness with it like there was with Ravenhurst, where you had the nice blueprints showing you exactly how the map was laid out and such. But with the Filthy Rich Mansion, you aren't even visiting the mansion itself for half of the scenes because they're located elsewhere in presumably the surrounding town from Phil's mansion, but it just makes it feel a lot less special. Now, Return to Ravenhurst. I love Return to Ravenhurst, but I don't like the underground section that much. Like, yeah, I get it. They wanted to show how the horrors that Charles has been perpetrating on Rose and her daughters and giving you a reason to free him. And I get that, but the locations themselves are mostly underground with pretty dull environments, which again I know is part of the thing, the game was going for, but I just don't like it, and I really wish at the very least in Return to Ravenhurst we explored a lot more of Ravenhurst Manor as a whole. Now, Dire Grove. I'd say Dire Grove is straight at the top of A, because I just love the snowed-in, wintry aesthetic of it, and also the fact that you're isolated and all you have for company is the Banshee as you're exploring these different rooms and locations that have been largely abandoned by the locals who have left for the summer, or left for the winter, I should say. And I just adore its aesthetic. Actually, I'll put it in S. 13th Skull. I love the mansion itself, having like various relics from Phineas Crown's time in it, and I love the aesthetic of the southern swampy, like muddy terrain we go through. It's a more backwater type area, and it works really well for the creep factor of the game. Malgrave Island. Now, while I like the Malgrave incident quite a bit, the island itself, it's great that it's the first one that's like fully 3D modeled, and to date the only location that's fully 3D modeled. And I like the graphics and look of the island, but it's just very basic and boring to me to not have anybody within the town itself to interact with. I get it, it was probably too much for him, but I think Dire Grove did a far better job of having a desolate sort of isolated landscape. And the only reason why it's so high is because I like the 3D parts of it. Next, Escape from Ravenhurst. Now, while it is probably equally, if not even more, disturbing in terms of rooms you visit compared to Return to Ravenhurst, I will put it in A tier, because like having it be like a wonderland through which you see Charles's whole life is a really cool idea for a game, and they executed it very well, albeit very disturbingly well. Bitterford, Maine, and Shadow Lake. It's okay. You know, it's not really a bad location, but boy, is the town itself just, once again, isolated mostly. But I'll put it above Return to Ravenhurst, because I like how it's more of a 70s abandoned vibe going on with it. But, like, I would have liked more variety in aesthetics. Like, pretty much the whole game, it's just the green haze over every single part of the world. And also, you don't even visit Shadow Lake for more than a few seconds, so that kinda brings it down some too as a location. Now, the Fates Carnival from Fates Carnival. It's okay. Like, I would have liked to see more returning scenes from the original Madame Fate in it. And I like the twist of the carnival getting destroyed and then reappearing with some elements more evil from being taken over by Alistair Dalamar. So that's why it's in A section, but the very bottom of A, I would have liked to see more of Fate's Carnival itself rather than it being turned into Dalamar's sanitarium quite so quickly. Dire Grove found in Dire Grove Sacred Grove. Now, I'll put this, I think, top of A, because I don't think it's as good as Dire Grove, but it does a great job. It actually does bring back many of the familiar locations from Dire Grove, but it also adds a bunch of new ones and really supplements them nicely, where all the new locations fit in well with the older stuff. And they even, when they do reuse older locations like the hotel or the farmer's hunting lodge, like, they did a great job at having you do a lot new different stuff with them to make them more unique. Next, Ravenhurst Museum from Key to Ravenhurst. I don't really like this at much, because once again, it's barely even focusing on the Ravenhurst mansion itself. Instead, you once again go through to a giant underground complex, which is something we already got a bit of in Ravenhurst with Emma's secret room, and then we got a bunch of in Return to Ravenhurst with Rose and the twins' whole areas carved out. Then we got even more in Escape from Ravenhurst with the whole underground section built for Charles's stuff, and I have no idea how the heck all this managed to be built and not conflict with one another. But then in Key to Ravenhurst, they do it again with another underground complex that's giant and massive, and I have no idea how it fits with the other stuff. And also, it's just not a very good use of the Ravenhurst aesthetic, if you ask me. Then there's the one Ravenhurst City in Key to Ravenhurst. I'll put that in bottom of B tier. I think it's a bit absurd. We go through to a whole medieval themed city in a Mystery Case Files game, but I do like the city. It has grown on me some in the years since Ravenhurst Unlocked has come out, and it at least it's not going through an absurd underground complex on the Ravenhurst property yet again. So I'll give it credit for that, and I'll put it in B tier. Next, the Huxley Boarding House in Broken Hour. I'd say A. Probably there is a good spot. I really love the Huxley Boarding House, like, as a setting. Like, I love how they made it a lot more haphazard and cobbled together with its feeling. And I love the one spiral room where you move the room around to get to the various other areas of the place. So they did a really good job with Huxley Boarding House, and one of the best of the Epics era, if you ask me. Next, it's Dreadman, Scotland. Now, I'd say probably here, like, this was the game where I really started to get tired of the purple haze aesthetic, because, like, it was in Key to Ravenhurst and Ravenhurst Unlocked, which were trying to riff on the aesthetic from Escape from Ravenhurst, but by the time Dreadman comes around, I just gotten super tired of it, and the town itself really isn't that interesting, and neither is the mansion. It's still another mansion to explore in the series, and doesn't do that much differently from the other mansions we've seen. And now for Avondale, Vermont from the Revenant's Hunt. I'm putting it right in D tier. Probably the only D tier thing I'd say of the series, but I just hate Avondale, Vermont. It's just so plain and bland looking to me, and The Revenant's Hunt was the game that bored me the most out of any of the MCF games. Like, even the games I usually would consider on the weaker end of the series, like, I still don't feel bored while playing them, but Avondale, Vermont just wasn't a captivating setting to me at all, visually, and so it really didn't interest me at all, so that's why I'm putting it in D tier. Next, Hotel Victory from Rewind. I'll put it right there. Like, Hotel Victory, it's cool enough of a location. I like the rooms that have some sort of reference to the earlier MCF games, but as a hotel, it's not really very cohesive, and also it tried to bring back the blueprints, but while the blueprints in Ravenhurst made sense, the ones in Hotel Victory do not. Like, how many hotels do you know that have a third floor back alley on them? Probably not very many. Next, what is this thing called? Coddington Manor. Yeah. By the way, for some of these, like, just to let you know, I needed to write them down so I would be able to remember what the heck the places were called. So this is Coddington Manor from the Countess, and once again, it has a kind of purplish aesthetic to the sky, and the mansion itself is pretty basic. I don't really care for it. It didn't stand out that well to me. So that's why I'm putting it worse than Dreadmond. Then, on the flip side, the Zenith Museum of Oddities, it initially, like, has the same flaws with the, like, purple sky aesthetic again, and looking to be just another generic structure, but then when you actually get in, it's very nicely themed around Ravenhurst, Madame Fate, and Broken Hour. Even though it looks like another big generic mansion, they actually did try to do a lot more unique with the interior, and it really works well, I'd say. So for that, I'ma put it bottom of A tier. Like, I really like how the Zenith Museum of Oddities works, because it still feels like a giant structure, but one that has all its rooms like built out and that. Next, like all we do with the Crown Estate and such in Black Crown. Once again, it initially seems to be just a generic sort of mansion, but then you get to the whole underground, like, pirate town, and it's amazing. And also you spend time on board the pirate ship itself exploring it, and it just is really fun to do. So I would put it probably top of A, I'd say, is a good spot for it. Next, the town of Darkmoor from the Harbinger. It's a town, and at the very least, what I'll say for it, I love how it has different aesthetics. Other than that, though, it's a fairly basic and straightforward town. And so I'm putting it just in C then. Now, the Time Hall from Crossfade. Now, what I love about the Zenith Museum of Oddities is that it was an actual location that was built out. But where with the Time Hall, it's just this one room, and then like you just go to different dimensions based on the various games. And I don't think that works out nearly as well. And I don't think the dimension designs were handled as well as the themed rooms from the Zenith Museum of Oddities. It's okay though, so I'll put it like above the C tier stuff, but just in B. Next, the Pendle Tower from Incident at Pendle Tower. It's fine, but like for the concept, I feel it could have been done a lot better than it was in execution, where Pendle Tower just feels very generic, and time travel sort of element with the ghosts from earlier in time could have been done better. So I'm putting it in C tier. Next, Mountain View Hotel and Town from The Last Resort. Now, I love that they went with a snowy aesthetic, but they didn't just try to copy Dire Grove itself. There's a lot more unique feeling environments within the place. So for that, I'm putting it top of B. Yeah, I'd say top of B. And just a really nice sort of location to explore. Then, for the town of Blackpool from the Dalmar Legacy, I love that finally in the series we get to explore Blackpool. And no, the book's set in Blackpool, and the stupid Spirits of Blackpool game that has become lost media don't count. This is the proper exploration of Blackpool, and it works really well. You know, you see a lot of wide variety of locations in the town, including the Ravenhurst Manor under construction. So, and it all works incredibly well. So, for that, I would say I'd put it bottom of S tier even, because It's just so cool to be able to explore Charles Delmar's like various hideouts in the town and foil all his plans within him. So I'm putting it bottom of S. Then the various places we visit in A Crime and Reflection. I just put the Mirror World here, but there's a ton of locations we go to in the game. And, well, at least in the Delmar Legacy, they were connected to one another. They're a lot more spread out and not as interconnected. It just feels like more of a sequential exploration where you visit this area, then you visit the next, then you visit the next, without much really tying all the locations together. And while the locations are fine, they aren't anything outstanding. Really, not even the Mirror World itself is very amazing, so I'll put it below the Ravenhurst Museum. Next, the Bishop Manor from The Riddle of Mrs. Bishop. Once again, it's just a basic sort of mansion, not really doing much special, I'd say. So, to be honest, like, because it's so many parts into the series, like, it's less excusable to have just a generic mansion. So, I'd put it bottom of C tier. I'm not putting it in D tier because it didn't bore me at the very least. And finally, there's Bird Town, which we explore in Fragments of Truth. Now, just based on the name alone, that should be like, create an F tier and put it down there. Like, what a stupid name. Why did they think that would be a good name for a location? You know? Like, there's stuff with more ominous sounding names like Dreadmond, Darkmoor, Dire Grove, that sort of thing. Makes sense. And then we got Bird Town. Ugh. But that being said, the location itself, the town is pretty nice. Like, I love how we go to a high society meeting and then it culminates in a climax on a ruined highway where Eric's parents died several years ago. So they at least had some really nice and creative aesthetics to it. So because of that, I'll put it in B, probably there. And in terms of changing anything, I think it's pretty good. Maybe put the Escape from Ravenhurst above Huntsville and Prime Suspects. Other than that, I think it looks good. So I hope you enjoyed this bonus video. Feel free to leave a comment about how you would rank some of these locations. Like and subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next bonus video tomorrow.